Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is so good to see you guys here. I hope you guys have all been doing well and having a good 2022 so far. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little BuffBunny try on haul because I just got the new shipment, the Journey collection. So I'm really excited to be trying that on. And then I will be training with Coach Adam and we're going to go over a few tips for those lagging body parts that you guys have because everyone has them, okay? Mine is my shoulders, but you don't want to miss this because we need to bring these bad boys up. All right, see you guys in a bit. So outfit number one, this is the Tajin tank, and I love this so much because check out the back, you guys. Look at that. Look at this cute little bow. I like that I can make it as tight or as loose as I want. Super comfortable, super cool. And to be honest, guys, I'm not much of a crop top person, so I can appreciate a good full-length tank. It has a nice little back opening right there. So next we have the Rosa sports bra and the Rosa leggings, both in Rio blue. The sports bra, size medium. The bottoms are small, but I love this material so much, you guys. It's super comfortable, and I love this color. It's very bold and saturated, and it's in the Team Elite Physique colors. Woo! And then next we have the Transcend Tee, which is a nice, loose, comfortable t-shirt. Maybe for those days that, like, you know, you ate a big burrito or something and you just don't want to have anything tight around your stomach, you know? Like for those big burrito days. This is perfect for that occasion, right? So this is like, I'm gonna go to Chipotle and I'm gonna have a burrito with double meat kind of day and guac. Yes, add the guac, I know it's extra. But yeah, I love it. Super comfortable in this little marbly pattern here. So next up we have the Transcend Tee in salsa red, size small. I love this. You know why? Because I don't even gotta wear a sports bra with it. Yep, that's right, it's all in one. Got the padding, I got support, the back is super cute, and it's a fitted tank. I love it, I love it. Look at me rocking these primary colors today. Look at it. So if you guys know me, you know that I love retro wear. I love throwback items. So this outfit is probably my favorite out of the whole set. We've got the throwback hoodie, size medium, and throwback joggers, size small. I tend to like my hoodies a little bit bigger, that's why I got a medium. But man, this one brings back some memories. I feel like this is an outfit that I would have worn as a child on Saturday morning watching Hey Arnold with a big bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I love it so much. It is super comfy, guys. I mean, I'll be honest. What I might do with this outfit is I'd probably wear it to bed and then wake up the next day and then wear it all day. You know what I mean? Like pajama slash casual wear scenario. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be honest. So it's comfortable enough to wear to bed and stylish enough to wear every day. Check it out. So next up we have the Rosa sports bra, color Lorena, size medium. And the bottoms, we have the Journey leggings in Avo green. Avo like avocado. I'm wearing avocado pants right now. How stylish is that? Love it. Super cute. And they make my butt look good. So this might be an unpopular opinion, but I hate biking. I hate cycling. I think it's such an inefficient way to do cardio. I would much rather run. However, I do like me some good bike shorts, yes, just like these Crossroads ribbed bike shorts, size small, color Lorena, to match my top. I love them, super comfortable, super stylish. Yeah, I approve. Okay, so we all have lagging body parts. We all have our weaknesses and our strengths. For me, my lagging body part is and always has been my shoulders. So I thought it'd be good to kind of put together a video of how to train your lagging body part, right?
Yeah.
And I need to start applying these tips to myself more, because you know how I get. I'm like, I always want to train glutes. Maybe I don't give my shoulders enough attention, but hey, it's time to start giving them the attention that they deserve.
I agree.
So how are we going to turn these bad boys into beefy guns?
And so boulder shoulders?
Boulder shoulders.
Well, let's see.
So recently, we've added an extra day of shoulder training, knowing that this is my lagging body part. So now I'm up to 3 days of shoulder training per week. Is this the right amount for somebody that's looking to improve a body part? Or is there no right or wrong answer to that?
So there is a right and wrong answer to that. And I think, so for you, 3 times a week makes a lot of sense. So one of the things you want to do if you have a lagging body part is prioritize your workout routine around that lagging body part. So if it's your glutes, you know, training your glutes on like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday basis is a good thing to do for a period of time. You know, sometimes for a long period of time, if you can recover. So for you, 3 times a week, shoulders makes a lot of sense because you can handle that type of training volume and frequency. But if it's someone, let's say you're just getting started and you're like, I really just want to build my shoulders and you haven't been working them out that much, 3 times a week might be too much for you. So shoulders is one of those muscle groups that is used all the time. So whenever you train your back, whenever you train triceps, I mean, even your biceps a little bit, you use your front delt, you're always using your shoulders. Whenever you grab groceries or whatever, you're always using it. So because of that, you have a higher ability of recovery too. It's a muscle that's used to recover a lot. It's kind of like your calves.
Oh, okay.
You're always walking on your calves. You can train them pretty hard all the time and they'll recover pretty good. That's one of those muscles. So for shoulders, yes, I would say go for it. If it's a big muscle group, like let's say your legs, you're really, really sore every time and you're not recovering and you can feel it, then maybe only train those in high volume for like a 4-week period or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So for somebody that is trying to train multiple times a week, they might be a little bit afraid of training too much. So how do they know if they're overtraining that body part? And to add on to that question, is it okay to train if you're a little bit sore?
So training if you're a little bit sore is okay. There's nothing wrong with you training if you're a little bit sore. There's a lot of reasons for soreness other than just your muscle being completely beat up. So what's more important than anything is your actual nervous system being beat up for a long period of time. If you're going to overtrain, it's going to be usually because your nervous system is so taxed, not really because your muscular system is so, you know, beat up and unable to recover. More times than not. So you have 3 different systems that you train when you're in the gym, and that's your muscular system, your nervous system, and your skeletal system. And no one really thinks of those, but they only think of the muscular system. So obviously the skeletal system, very little gets done in the gym. You know, you help maintain bone strength with lifting weights, and that's pretty much what it is. But the muscular system is, you know, you lift something heavy, your body recovers, it grows, and then your nervous system, which no one talks about, that's something that can get taxed very easily. If you're doing a lot of HIIT cardio, if you're training super high volume, super high frequency all the time. But what we do in the gym, it's not very likely that you're gonna overtrain. It's just not, your body is capable of doing what we do in the gym for 2 hours a day and usually getting away with it, no problem. You gotta think like how we're designed, and people overthink overtraining too easily. So they think, oh, if I lift 6 days a week, I'm gonna overtrain. And I'm like, no, your ancestors were working in fields, working on horses, blacksmiths, building with their hands all day, every day, from sun up to sundown. We're capable of far more than 2 hours in the gym a day, you know, and that's counting like 1 hour workout, maybe 30 minutes of cardio. You're gonna be just fine. Highly, highly unlikely you're gonna overtrain. Most people don't even have it in them to overtrain. Like it would take so much out of you that you probably don't even have it in you to overtrain. So that's
you would probably definitely know it if you did, right? You'd not be able to get out of bed too easy.
Yeah, and I don't think mentally, like even right now, I work out pretty decently hard. I don't think even I have right now what it takes to overtrain, to get to the point of overtraining. I would have to like run hard as I could. hour a day, train like crazy, drop sets every set. Like, it would take so much.
Yes.
So
I feel like a lot of times people use that as an excuse to not work out hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to overtrain, so I might as well not work out today. So.
Yes, so don't confuse a little bit of soreness with overtraining. Soreness can be from micro trauma to the muscle, which micro tears every time you work out. Just, you know, overworking and working hard, you know, it doesn't mean overtraining, you know. So, yeah, I think that there's a smart way of going about it, and I think the only way you're going to build muscle in a gym is if you train a little bit harder than the last time you did. So, if you did 10 pounds for 10 reps one time, then the next time do 11 pounds for 10 reps, or do 11 reps with 10 pounds, and that's how you're going to start growing and creating a new stimulus. So it's just little progressions each time.
Okay, so is there a specific rep range that you would suggest for people, or is it just as long as you're constantly challenging yourself? Because a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, in order to put on muscle, you need to do under 10 reps and you need to go really heavy.
Yeah, that is definitely not the truth. You don't need to go heavy, but you do have to, eventually it'll get heavy, but it's all relative. So it's whatever is hard to you that's going to create a stimulus. So, and this is a good example was the blacksmith that I used, right? They would hammer on, you know, let's say horseshoes all day long. Well, the first day you did that, and if you were to go do that, I were to go do that, the first time I did that, I would be super sore in my arm. Like, have you ever moved furniture and then got sore the next day, but you work out all day, every day, and then for some reason, like, you shouldn't be sore because it's not that heavy? I did that last weekend. I'm sore from doing movements I haven't done. So that's
static movements.
Yeah, you know, so the blacksmith thing, the first day you do it, yeah, you're gonna be sore, and then your body's like, this is new to me. I need to now build some muscle and recover from that movement that I just did because it's new to me. So I need to be better prepared for the next time Adam does that to me, that I don't get so beat up. So then I do it again and I'm a little less sore, and I do it again, I'm a little less sore. And then before you know it, I can blacksmith 10 hours a day and I don't even feel it the next day, right? So what happens is I got used to doing that. So how would I get sore again hammering on those horseshoes? Well, I would need a bigger, heavier hammer for it to be newer to me.
Yeah.
So it would be harder again, right? So that's the same thing with weights. If you're lifting the same weights and using the same hammer every time, eventually you get used to it, and now you're just the blacksmith able to do it for 10 hours and nothing happens. So that's kind of a good way of thinking about it. So when you're in the gym, it could be lightweight, it could be heavyweight. I guess I should say high reps, low reps. As long as it's a stimulus to the body greater than before, your body is going to have to adapt to it. So,
really good tip for you guys out there.
So that's the thing, lift a little bit harder than the last time, whether it's reps, whether it's weight, but challenge yourself to a point where you haven't been to before, or else there's no reason that your body would need to build more muscle for it. You're just hitting the hammer.
Yes. I would also like to say another tip for growing a lagging body part is to make sure you're hitting all parts of that body part, right? So for example, for the shoulder, we have front, the medial, and the rear delt, you know? Same thing with glutes. There's more than just one little glute muscle. So make sure you're training all parts of that muscle.
Yeah, that's really important. If you're trying to develop, let's say, I mean, you're probably watching Ashley because you want to develop that bikini looking body or that fitness model body. You have to have a well-rounded workout routine to have that well-rounded physique. If you're just doing shoulder presses for your shoulders, you're going to develop your front delts really nice, but then your mid delts aren't going to have that wide pop. Your rear delts aren't going to look good from the back, but you want a complete physique, so you're going to have to train all the angles. I mean, we'll do 5 different exercises or so and kind of work in a way where you're going from front to front mid to mid only to mid rear to rear type of scenario where you're hitting all the target of the muscle. It doesn't need to be in an order like that, but it's just easier for me to keep track of, so I kind of train it like that. I'll do, you know, like a front raise, maybe a shoulder press, which is like front and a little bit of mid, and then a lateral raise, and then do something where it's kind of in the middle of a raise, like a bent over dumbbell fly, and then a rear delt machine type of pull. So I kind of work my way around the muscle group, and I think it's a good way of making sure you complete the muscle, you know? So yeah, so
and as far and as far as like nutrition is concerned, I would assume that on a, for example, like on a day that you are training this lagging body part, maybe save your high carb day for that training day if you're carb cycling, or kind of really be very conscious of like timing your carbs around your workout, especially on that stubborn area.
Yeah, and especially, that would hold true for a couple reasons, but one would be especially if you're dieting and you're trying to lean out a lot, or maybe you're on a prep diet and you don't have that much energy, but you have 2 days a week where you have high carbs. Make sure that you do attack that muscle group on that day where you have that extra energy. And here's the thing, if you have a cheat meal weekly, everyone does the cheat meal after they work out as like a recovery, but I honestly think you should do your cheat meal, and a lot of coaches think this, you should do your cheat meal before you work out, maybe an hour or 2 hours before you work out, which I know, understand the argument, maybe it's sitting in your stomach and you feel a little too full, but you're gonna have so much energy to kill the muscle group that day and really take advantage of those extra calories, maybe get in some extra sets, maybe work out with a workout partner or your trainer that day and do drop sets, intensifiers, and really go after it. You know, there's a lot of intensifiers you can do to create a new stimulus, because remember, what we're trying to do is, we already talked about, is creating that new stimulus. So use that extra energy to push it that day in the gym, and that's the only way you're gonna build muscles, if you go harder than last time.
So an example of an intensifier would be maybe like a drop set or a burnout set that you can add on to, you know, each exercise that you do, or even try new exercises that you've never done before. And in fact, I would like to show the audience that one that we do on occasion, but I don't think a lot of people know about this one. It's kind of cool if you have a partner and you're working out. So if we want to go ahead and show.
Yeah, this would be like a forced rep example.
Forced rep.
So this is actually a combo. We do drop sets to forced reps, which is really cool. Or you might want to call it assisted reps, but so the goal for this exercise is to completely exhaust and fatigue her shoulders to the absolute limit. So we'll start off with dumbbell lateral raises, then switch to lighter dumbbells, which is a drop set. Typically on a drop set, you're gonna go and reduce the weight about 20% and try to do somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 10 more reps. Usually it's like 6 to 8. And then you'll drop it however many times you want to drop it, and then you're going to see me do a force rep where I'm like forcing her arms, she's resisting my arms, I'm forcing them down, she's resisting up, resisting down. So this is a tough one. So on this set, we're gonna make sure she reaches absolute failure. So this is where I'm gonna assist her and make sure she gets some extra reps in after she reaches failure. So on the way up, I'll come up and I'll help her a little bit, give her a little bit extra, take off some of that load by it's like a light touch of help, probably taking off like a pound or 2. There you go. And as soon as her form starts to drop, which it's almost dropping, you can then go to another rep, which is gonna be, you could do partials, and we'll show you what that is. So this is kind of like partial pumping. I'm putting pressure down and up on her to really burn out. And now we're gonna go all the way up now, and I'm gonna force it down slowly. I'm gonna go all the way up, force it down slowly. She's resisting. She's resisting both on the way up and on the way down. My hands are pretty light on her now because there's like no juice left. I'm probably putting like 3 pounds of pressure on the way up now. And then we're gonna finish off with 10 partials down at the low range. So I'm just resisting and putting a little bit of pressure on her. Be sure not to put too much on her, she won't be able to do anything. And that looks like about it right there. So now, that is super, super hard. You wouldn't want to do that every time. You would fry yourself out pretty quick on that. Probably, maybe risk injury if you did it like every set all the time. But adding that as on your 4th set, to maybe a couple exercises on your lagging body part a couple days a week would be a really good way to know for sure that you're creating some type of stimulus that your body has to adapt to. So,
what are your thoughts on activation exercises, meaning like maybe an exercise you do to activate the muscle before you full out train it?
So there's good arguments for it, but here's the thing, there's a good argument for doing a lot of different things in the gym. And so I always look at like value of time versus benefit. And if you're really not able to feel that muscle work, like you're really not able to feel it, then I think it's a great thing. But I think a lot of people overthink it, and they're always talking, oh, I just can't feel this, I can't feel that. And I'm like, well, are you even lifting hard enough to get a creative stimulus? Are you even squeezing it through? Are you concentrating on the actual movement? So those are the things you gotta ask yourself first. You should always lift with intention and lift with really like intense concentration on using this muscle to work out. Like a lot of times people grab shoulders, dumbbells, and they'll just throw the weight up without even thinking about using the shoulders. Like when I lift, I think, okay, I'm trying to use my shoulder as an anchor to lift this weight and not think about just driving my elbows up and using momentum. I'm really like trying to focus my shoulders on doing their part of the job. And I think that's more important than anything. I would say I would put stretching in front of the activation exercises. So if you have bad posture, relaxing the muscles that are overly tight, that are maybe restricting the muscle from working would be important. So in shoulders, that's a common one because a lot of us work at like desk jobs. So having your shoulders forward like this kind of puts your shoulders in a bad spot to start lifting. So what I would do is make sure your posture is lined up first and stretch your chest muscle out. I think you're gonna get a lot better benefit of stretching your chest out before you work out, making sure you're aware of your posture and lifting in proper alignment before an activation exercise. Because the thing is, if you're doing activation exercises, let's say you get a little bit better, muscle firing, you're gonna get that anyway once you start lifting. Like it's going to activate anyway, you know what I mean? So as long as you're lifting right, you're not lifting with too much weight. So the one thing is a lot of people do like warm-ups and they're like, oh, I'm gonna warm up and then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they're wasting like 30 minutes in the gym. You gotta look at what the benefit is. So there's never been a study shown that shows warm-ups have decreased the risk of injury. That's not a thing that's ever been proven. So for most people, I say, hey, do a light set, make sure your posture's aligned, stretch any tight muscles that are overly tight that are restricting your movements, and then jump right into your workout. I'd rather you spend that extra time, that extra 30 minutes in the gym lifting weights than doing things to help the weights be more effective. Because it's probably this much more effective, but lifting weights is this much more effective, you know? So that's my take on it.
And here's an obvious one for you guys too. Mind to muscle connection. I know we hear that a lot, but really you gotta be sharp mentally when you're training, especially those body parts that are stubborn. So really focus on those muscles you're supposed to be training, supposed to be feeling, and make sure you're not just going through the motions, because you can easily do that if your mind is on something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, extreme concentration, like intentions on the muscle that you're lifting. I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
It gets lost a lot with compound movements like squats or deadlifts, things like that. People just want to lift the weight up and they don't really think how I'm lifting it. And with bodybuilding, it's different than just lifting weights. Powerlifting, strength training, that's just get it up however you got to get it up. Use all the muscles you can. Bodybuilding, it's like, I'm trying to sculpt my glutes. I need to use my glutes to do this, so.
Right, totally. So is there any other tips that you have for our viewers out there on how to improve their stubborn body part?
I think the biggest things we covered, but it would be don't be afraid of volume. I would say don't be afraid of volume.
Yes.
I think most people don't get their physique to where they want to get it because they're afraid of volume and frequency. And they'll say, I just should only train my shoulders once a week because I'm only gonna overtrain, or I'm only gonna train my legs once a week, maybe once in a while, twice. Don't be afraid of the volume. Your body is capable of way more than you think it is. Right now in Brazil, these wellness competitors, some of them are training legs 5 days a week and they're just growing still. So it's like, when you see these extremes, obviously that's not something I would recommend for everyone to do, especially right away. But it's good to see the extremes still making benefits, because then you can make the argument, okay, maybe I haven't been doing enough. So I would say test yourself, find out what your enough is, what your too much is, and then make sure you're not doing too much, of course, but really give it your all, see what your body's capable of, don't be afraid of volume and frequency.
And there you have it. All right, well, Thank you for those tips, Adam. I'm gonna put those tips to good use, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, so look out for Ashley in women's bodybuilding in about 6 weeks.
Yes, exactly. I'm getting closer by the day. Well, I guess that's that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and make sure you follow along for future videos. And if you liked any of my outfits today, I'm gonna definitely put the BuffBunny collection link in the description below. Until next time, I will catch you guys later. Ta-ta now.